talk about critical race theory, which is pretty much going to be teaching kids how to hate each other, how to dislike each other. That's pretty much what it's going to, that's pretty much, I don't care what you say, it's pretty much what it's going to all come down to. You're going to deliberately teach kids, this white kid right here got it better than you because he white? You're going to purposely tell a white kid, oh, the black people are all down and suppressed. How do I have 2 medical degrees if I'm sitting here oppressed? How did I get, first of all, sign up, because I only got 5 minutes now, 5 minutes. 2 medical degrees. No mom, no dad in the house. Worked my way through college. Sat there and hustled my butt off to get through college. You gonna tell me somebody that looked like all y'all white folks kept me from doing that? Are you serious? Not one white person ever came to me and said, well, son, you're never going to be able to get nowhere because you know the black people. But guess what? What's sickening about this whole thing is what y'all doing right now is already something I do in my community right now to speak out against stuff, because black folks are getting told by other black folks, oh, you know you ain't going to be able to do nothing out there in the world because them white folks ain't going to let you get no, oh, you know you're not going to be able to do it here because you know, the white man going to keep you down. Well, how did I get where I am right now if some white man kept me down? How am I now directing over folks that look just like you guys in this room right now? How? What kept me down? What oppressed me? I worked for myself from off the streets to where I am right now. You gonna sit there and tell me this lie of critical race theory? Of this the reason why black folks can't get ahead because of white folks? Are you kidding me? This is what we come to now. I can't believe we even talking about this right now. The last thing I'm gonna say right here is something that's crazy. Martin Luther King said he wanted his kids to grow up in a world where they are judged by the contents of their what? Their character, not their skin. If they letting this stuff go on right now, it is absolutely doing the complete reverse of what he's doing. So when February comes, don't talk about Martin Luther King. When February comes, don't talk about Black History Month. If y'all gonna sit there and just pretty much pee on his grave with this nonsense, that's exactly what's about to happen. Lastly, we are talking about our kids. We are talking about our children. What's so sickening about me, I love the Discovery Channel. You will see that on the Discovery Channel, animals will put their lives on the line to protect their children from danger. Nobody want to get to the heart of the matter, get to the meat of the matter, get to the moral of the story. It all comes down to it. The person that's going to be suffering from this, the one's going to be hurt from this, is the kids. 10 years from now, if this stuff goes on, whose fault is it going to be? Whose fault is it going to be? Who we going to look back on and blame for this? Because this is stuff we're talking about right now. This stuff is going on right now. I do this stuff on a daily basis. I'm in the hood. I'm in the communities. I'm out there with folks in their face. I've been doing this stuff since I was 18 years old, talking to black folks. And you know what? None of them are buying this nonsense. None of them are. But if you want to implement this into the school system, I guarantee you to the day that I die, I'm going to be the very person right there debunking stuff, tearing stuff down, letting them know they can do exactly what I did and get exactly where I am by putting themselves to work and getting there. And ain't not one white person ever going to keep any of them from getting there. So the CRT stuff, BS.
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honor to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who the house of David will be born again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about critical race theory, or CRT. Right? It's what this Judite man was just speaking about, right? This Jew, right? And if you're not in the know yet, yes, it is true. The so-called Negroes of today are in fact the true Jews of the Bible. Okay? Well, that man that you've seen there was completely lost in his babbling. Okay? He has been misled and brainwashed by the society. Okay, let's read this first, though. We'll go ahead and talk more about that video. This is Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Now, that man there, right? This Judite. And he, for all intents and purposes, he may even be a terror. Right? He probably looks like a so-called black man, but his lineage, his father's line and his grandfather's line, all the way back to the plantation that he probably can trace his lineage back to, he might be the son of the slave owner, man. Right? This may be a terror. This is why he has not had to deal with all the adversity that Israelites tend to have to go through, right? All the problems that they tend to run through, or more than likely he is simply just a sellout, a sellout of our people, right? The one that the scripture that I just read refers to, right? The hand joined in hand, right? Now, I want you to look in this room. What other Judites do you see in this room? I don't see any, right? Well, this man here, he is, I guess for all intents and purposes, he has lifted himself up by his own bootstraps, right? He believes that because he went through his path, that his nation is also not being oppressed, right? He probably thinks that they're just lazy, right? And this man here, he's not the exception, right? He's not the exception to the rule that think that, as far as race haters, right? There's a lot of people within our particular nations, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who have people just like this, right? Who have made it up to the top, right? I myself, I haven't been blinded by what's going on. I know that though I may have it okay, that a lot of my people don't have it okay. I understand that a lot of brothers are affected by what's going on. I hear the stories and I understand why it's like that, right? And why is that? Well, because I've been given the mercy to know the truth of the Bible, to know who we are. This man here, however, he doesn't understand this, man. He still is there calling himself and people like him black, right? He calls these people behind him white, right? White people, man. These people are not white, right? They're off pink at most, but realistically and biblically, these are the Edomites of the Bible, right? And he is not black; he is a brown color, right? Now, if he would get his head out of his ass and do some research and understand what's really going on, he would understand that these subtle beasts behind him, they're not going to come up to him and tell him that, hey, because of your color of your skin, you're going to be oppressed. No, man, it doesn't happen that way. It's systematic, right? You have the system that has been put into place, right? Because the thing is that these people back here, the Caucasian race, the Edomites, they've built a system for themselves, and you are not part of it, right? Now, you may be simply the Judite that they selected to be an example to the other Judites, right? Or what they used to call the house Negro, right? The one that was allowed to come on in and get a little better, food and a little better treatment, right? There's a video called Uncle Tom, right? And it actually shows a clip of one of these house Negroes, man.
Excuse us, sir. My colleague and I are here to conduct an inquiry. May we ask you a few questions?
Yes, please, master. I'm at your disposal.
You're here, as it were, to be sold, no?
Of course.
We are truly appalled, sir. We can imagine how you must feel, your fear, your indignation.
On the contrary, why, in my career, I have always been very lucky. I've had masters, each one more humane than the next.
But haven't you ever been treated brutally, whipped, beaten, tortured?
In our profession, what counts is to do one's duty. Don't listen to all those stories about the various Uncle Toms and Simon Legrees and so on. It's all nonsense. The truth is that we are valuable merchandise. And have you seen the prices in the market? I know it. I cost more than $2,000. And can you imagine a fool, excuse the expression, a fool of a master who would whip and maim a capital of over $2,000? No! If a slave is a respectable slave, his master treats him with kid gloves because it takes only one scar, one single scar, and plop, down shoots the price. You know, the client is suspicious.
But, sir, surely you must realize the injustice of your situation, the violation of your liberty, your freedom.
If you speak of freedom, sir, I must tell you something. I am a worker, and workers are not free and never will be. If you speak of my condition, I will quickly say, I don't pay taxes. I'm housed, fed, and clothed by my employer. I work a short week. My medical care is free. I get a Christmas bonus, and retirement or permanent disability at the expense of my employer. Without mentioning this, that in time of war, I am not even obligated to military service.
Oh, but if you're not even paid.
You know, I see the ones which you gentlemen call freed slaves or liberated workers out from morning till night, working like horses to make ends meet, and they never do. So, just tell me then, what's the difference between us slaves and liberated workers? Huh?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Who? Me?
Yes, you. You're a dishonor to your race.
Waving that camera around, will you?
All right, but with all the thousands of tormented slaves there are in this country, we have to run into that puppet, that wretched collaborator.
And it shows you basically the same, ideology that this man had, man. It's sickening, man. It's disgusting because you see this man here, he doesn't remember all this shit, man. Or even if he does, he doesn't want to bring it up. Right? That shit's all in the past, right? And what is CRT, critical race theory, actually talking about? Well, it talks about teaching this. It talks about teaching the true historic past of the North Atlantic slave trade. Right? And not only this, man, all the wickedness that these devils did, right? Because again, a lot of the Edomites, the Caucasians that are back in this time today, are actually the same people that were alive and well in this period that have reincarnated in this generation, right? That are come back now through the lineage of their forefathers, or lineage of their descendants, and are now back upon the face of the earth, right? To face their judgment, right? Right? And because, like I said, they didn't only do it to the so-called Negroes, man. Look, they also did it, and they are doing it to the northern tribes, man, the Latinos, right? And this happened recently, right? We were also being hung, man, right? Here's the Rangers, tying up it tells you here, it says Mexican-American War postcards from 1846, right? You have a lot of Mexicans being hung down. It also happened with this when the Spaniards came over here. Now the Spaniards were a special group because they, for the most part, were a mixture of the Southern Kingdom, right, which had mixed in with Edomites, right. And what you had come over here as the Spaniards was a mixture of people from the old world, right. There was Israelites, there were Edomites, right. You had the so-called Jewish, the Amalekite Edomites, financed the boats. They came over here and did all this shit, man. So you see, this is the wickedness that these devils, have unleashed upon the whole earth, man. It tells you here, look, Juanita Josefa Segovia was the first woman to be hung in California, right? Now, who the heck do you think hung her, man? Right? And there's all these wicked stories, man, that these Edomites did to not only the Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negroes, but to the Northern Kingdom, man, right? And when you go here, you can see images of the destruction that they brought upon the North American Indians, which again are the Northern Kingdom, right? From the Trail of Tears, right? You have people freezing out there in the winter, right? People said that when they started the march, they had women and children with them. By the time they ended the march, right, across the United States, that basically all the children and most of the women were dead. You had the children taken away and re-educated in Canada, right? You had smallpox be given to our people. Now, who the heck did this, man? Who did this, right? Was this just a problem of the Indians, the Latinos, and the Negroes, man? Are they not buying it, like that guy said? Man, see, this is why the Lord's gonna fuck up a lot of you 2/3 people out there, man. A lot of our people are gonna have to die because they've been so brainwashed and can't comprehend that though the Lord has given them mercies in this life, right, that excludes them from what is actually happening to our people. Let's get this. This is 2nd Ezra 9-9, right? This is talking specifically about people like this man, right, that have gotten a little something, and they think they're all good, man. They got theirs, but they don't give a fuck about their people, man, right? That's the difference between people like that and people like us here at Great Millstone. We actually care about our nation, man. We actually care that we're being trodden down by our enemies, man. Right? That's one thing that separates us from these people, man. Right? This is 2nd Ezra 9-9. Then shall they be in a pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. Right? And why shall they do that? Well, let's read. For such as in their life have received benefits, right? Wasn't that man talking about how he had 2 medical degrees? How can he be oppressed? Right? Well, man, does he not listen to the news? Does he not see how the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Indians are being shot down in the streets? That we make up the majority of the prison population? That the Negro, Latino, Native Indians are outpaid, right? We make a fraction of what the so-called Caucasian and Asians make as far as paid. Man, this man doesn't understand how oppressed we are, man, because he's been blinded by the small benefits that he's been given, man, right? And have not known me, right? Because that man does not know God, right? If he does, he only knows white baby Jesus, man, right? Over there, probably praying with like a whole congregation to a Caucasian, blue-eyed, yellow-haired Jesus, man, right? Thinking that the white man's gonna save his ass, right? But that guy's blinded, man. Verse 11, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. Right? And this man here, man, he despised this truth, right? Because what did he say? It's not other white people who are telling them that they're being oppressed. He says it's other black people who are saying, oh, the white man's holding me down, blah, blah, blah. But that's the thing, man. Our people are trying to wake each other up, trying to tell our people who the actual issue, who the problem of the world is, right? And that's actually biblical right now, man, because it tells you that in the last days, the man of perdition, the man of destruction, the man of sin is going to be revealed, right? And that's happening now, right? But you have men like this, right? These people who have been blinded by the materialistic goodies that they've got, that they want to, please their masters, or who may even just be tares who are going to be out there, heralding the benefits of these Edomites, right? Saying that, hey, they've changed and they're nice people now. You could trust them, right? That's who this guy, is, man. Because he ultimately, he's despised this truth, man, right? And he's joined himself onto these devils. But he doesn't understand, though, that even though he has 2 medical degrees and he may be making okay money, that this man, he's destitute, man. He is spiritually bankrupt, right? That he's been basically rejected by the Lord, and he's going to be left in his misery, man, when that time breaks out. This is Revelations 3:17. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increaseth in goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked, right? And that's the thing, that man there, he is naked when it comes to the truth of the Bible, man, right? Though he may be, physically clothed, that guy is spiritually naked. He doesn't understand who he is. He doesn't understand what's going on. He just knows that he has it good, and he's okay with that, right? He's basically that prisoner who has a bunch of extra ramen in his cell, man, and he's all fucking good, man. He's there, the guy who's fucking showing off the ramen to the other prisoners to show them that he's the man on the block. That's what that guy is, man, right? Because he doesn't realize what the true wealth is, the wealth of understanding who you truly are. That guy's still calling himself black, right? If anything, that shows you how destitute he is, right? But like I said, he's just that rich-ass prisoner, man, who's happy in his slavery, man. He's a content slave. This is Isaiah 1:3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. And that man there doesn't even consider who he is, right? And even if he was to hear that he in fact is the true Israelite, he won't even understand what that means, I bet, man. He probably will take that and throw that behind him, man. Not understanding that with that title, that means that he should be a king upon the earth, man. That he is a representation of God upon earth. That what he has now, what he's struggled for, should have never struggled for it, man. That it should have been his automatically, right? That he should never have had to have anybody, Caucasian, Chinese, any of these other nations above him, man. The only person that he should have had above him is our King David, the Messiah, and the Lord. Plain and simple, man. But this guy does not even consider what the truth of his reality is, man. He's just going along to get along, man. And what is he doing? He's sticking up for his master. This is Romans 11:7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Right? And when he's talking about Israel, it's talking about the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. Yasharallah, which is how you say Israel in Hebrew, which means he, prince of power in Hebrew, okay? So you see, Israel right now is out there seeking for some sort of truth, their true identity. They're calling themselves African Americans, Pan Americans, right? They're even calling themselves the original indigenous Americans, man. You know, our people have been blinded. They have been utterly miseducated to the truth of what's going on, right? And the only way that they're gonna come back to the truth is if the Lord has mercy upon them and actually tells them, you know, what the truth is, that being the truth of the Bible, right? But the thing is that chances are, if you're not awoken now, you're not gonna be awoken later, man. You've been purposely blinded, right? And how have you been blinded? By the God of this world, as it tells you here. This is 2 Corinthians 4:3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of the Messiah, who is the image of God, should shine onto them. And who is the God of this world? Right? Who is the person that would be a God upon earth today? Well, none other than your friendly neighborhood Caucasian, right? Your Edomite, right? The person that this man has surrounded himself, man. You know, I bet you he has probably one other Judite friend, man, and he probably hates his ass. Right? But the point being, man, is that this guy here, you know, this guy's not new. We all know this sucker, man. We know people just like this, man. The people who are trying to get along with their enemies, right? Just so that way they could live high on the hog, man. Say hello to your house Negro, people. This is Luke 6:24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Right? And that's exactly what this man is, man. You know, he is rich in his own eyes. He's made it in this place, man. For him, he doesn't want anybody else to complain about being oppressed or nothing. He just wants everybody to stop making a fuss, so that way he can now, you know, live peacefully with Master, man. Right? To live peacefully with these wicked devils, man. These devils that were responsible for all these atrocities throughout history, and are still doing this, but in a covert manner, man, with the Planned Parenthood, with the chemtrails, the GMOs, the poisoning of the oceans, right? The microplastics that are being pushed throughout our you know, environment, right? This devil, you know, he's still doing this shit, man, but it's just not out in the open as it was before. But I just wanted to touch upon this, Akim. I just wanted to show you the folly of our people, right? And just showing you, man, how there are so many of our people who are lost, man, and are not going to be saved because they are blind to what's really going on, right? So with all that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.